Hi guys, today in reading, we are going to take a closer look at the characters in our stories. When we look closely at the characters in our books, we are going to be looking at their character traits. A character trait is basically, we're going to ask the question, how does our character act in the story? When we ask ourselves that, I'm sure there's lots of answers. Think about the book that you're reading and you may think a character is smart. You may think a character is silly. Maybe a character is very dangerous. Maybe the character is brave. But we're going to take a look at a list of a lot of character traits, and then we'll try to compare it to some of the books that we're reading.
So we have the story that we've read called Spaghetti in a Hot Dog Bun, and we have two characters in this story. We have Lucy and we have Ralph, and Ralph was the boy that was kind of teasing Lucy. So we have this list of character traits behind us, and we thought that we could look at this and come up with some things that describe Lucy and maybe some things that describe Ralph. So I'll be describing Lucy, Mrs. Cushman will be describing Ralph, and I'll get us started. So if you remember, Lucy likes to eat kind of different foods. She liked ketchup on her toast instead of peanut butter or jelly. She was kind of unique in the foods that she ate, maybe even the clothes that she wore. She had really fun curly hair. And then Ralph was picking on her a lot. So let's look at this list and see if we could find some things that describe Lucy. So let's see, I think Lucy is brave. So I'm gonna put an L by the word brave. I think she is...
I would kind of say with her eating ketchup on toast, some people, I feel like that's kind of daring. I've never had that.
Okay,
so
daring. I would say that Ralph embarrassed her, so I'm going to say that she got embarrassed. Lucy seems pretty fearless. I thought she seemed friendly in the book.
She's sitting with her friend on the bus.
She's sitting with her friend.
What would we do, like when she said, she was thinking about the words that her grandfather said, like everybody has a, is it a kind heart? She said, would treat others. So this
Kind?
is maybe, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like, I think that's a good trait that she was even able to look at Ralph and think, oh yes, but he does have a heart and has a kind heart.
So there's really no wrong answer for picking a character trait as long as you can describe why you think that or back it up with some evidence from the text. Mrs. Cushman, let's see if we can describe Ralph with a few words here.
All right, well, I know right at the beginning they're on the bus and Ralph is rolling his eyes at her, and I feel like that's pretty rude. And so if you know what, I'm going to give you my marker.
Yeah.
And if you want to put some R's, I think there's a rude up there. Yes. Yep. I feel like that was really rude. And then he kind of is snippy with her and trips over her foot. I think it's a complete accident, but then he's making fun of her and saying you look like a poodle. And so I feel like that's mean. And
I also saw the word obnoxious, and
Yes.
I didn't know if that would describe Ralph.
I think it is. It is. Obnoxious is when it is kind of being rude and maybe being kind of loud or saying things to embarrass someone else. I think Ralph, though, is our character. We definitely see a change in his attitude. And at the end of the book, if you remember, he's really making fun of Lucy. Do you guys remember this? She's crying, and he puts a crayon in her hair. But when we get home, I don't know if there's something. I was just thinking with Lucy, she wouldn't really tell Grandpa what was wrong.
Okay.
I don't know if there's anything on there about. I mean, she was being quiet. That's kind of a simple one.
Okay.
But she really didn't want to tell what was happening. But then he's still making fun of her horribly, and then he's at recess, and it's time to go in. And remember, he's caught on the top of the playground equipment. and Lucy goes and helps him.
Okay.
So that is a place where I feel like he changes and he's able to ask for help.
Would you say that you think he's worried?
He was definitely worried when he was on there. Yes, he's and then I guess here, let's say Lucy became helpful because she turned around and helped him off. And if you remember this picture here where Ralph was normally, he was normally the, so the two walked back to the classroom without saying a word. And then in the end, if you remember, he wrote her. So he definitely changed and he wrote her a nice note. So I don't know if
he was sorry?
He was sorry, absolutely.
Yeah.
And last could be like maybe he was thankful or grateful that somebody would help him. Either one. Yeah. All right, so we have gone through and we found our character traits on our poster here or on the sheet. We are going to put this so that you guys can see this on our Canvas page. And what we want you to do then is to take one of your characters and go through and find some traits that you feel match up with your character.
Now it's your turn. Upload to the Padlet below. Tell us your name, tell us the character's name, and some of the character traits that you think the character has.